Hello everyone, as promised, this video we're going to be talking about footprints, and footprints, in my opinion at least, are one of the most amazing trader tools that you can get your hands on. So without further ado, let's just get started. So we're going to start with the basics. Now the basics are, there's a lot of information going on the chart, and chances are most of the time when you see a footprint you see this statistics right here. So let me just go ahead, introduce you to the statistics, and then remove the statistics because I don't really think you need that at all. Now, if you're using NinjaTrader, so we're using ES futures, June contracts, 1 minute bar, candle, whatever you want to call it. So this rectangle right here, we're going to be saying that that's a candle. If you're using NinjaTrader, go to the data settings. This is not an indicator, it's just a data type. The presentation is in the form of a volumetric bar. And right here you have show bar statistics. Now, as you can probably see, you have a lot of things, and I only have 4 enabled just for reference. They're color coded, but either way, it's incredibly hard to read. So what you have right here is number of trades, volume, buy volume, sell volume, delta buy, delta percentage, cumulative delta, and so forth and so forth. And when you see this, you'll be thinking, oh my God. But if you actually trade, you'll know that the more information you have on your screen, the less information you have on your screen. So my advice to you, turn those off. You'll see your chart looks much better. Now, in the bar statistics, there are a couple of things that are actually important. And the important part for me is the delta and delta progression through the bar. However, if you are using volumetric on NinjaTrader, chances are you're either lifetime subscriber to NinjaTrader, you have the lifetime package, which is a one-time payment, and you get this for free, or you're paying each month, I think it's something like 50, 60, 70 bucks, or whatever, in order to get this data. So if you are, either way, you have access to the orderflow plus package. And in the orderflow plus package, in addition to the volumetric bars, the orderflow cumulative volume profile, which I don't think really differs from a normal volume profile, but that's a different story. You also have the order flow cumulative delta indicator. Now, here's the thing. Generally, when we're talking about order flow cumulative delta, you're used to seeing it as a session. So you're just going to see a line right here if the cumulative volume delta is up or down. However, you have the option to select on bar. And basically what that does is that it gives you the delta progression through this exact bar. So for example, delta started right here at the zero, almost zero. We went below zero. You can see the little tick, and then very positive. We ended with a very little tick. So it was a very positive candle, delta-wise candle. And I really think that this is much better than looking at some numbers, just having this at the bottom. So that's that. Now let's focus on the real fun part, which is the volumetric bar. And volumetric bars are incredibly powerful if you know how to read them. Unfortunately, looking at different videos on YouTube, different sort of educators, a lot of the information remains hidden, and the most important things, which I'll be talking about in the second part of this video, because otherwise it's going to get too lengthy, are not really mentioned anywhere. Or if they are, they're just like skimmed through, and people are just getting hung up with all those numbers, which are basically almost meaningless. So now let's get started with the basics. Obviously, as I told you, we have a candle. So let's just take the pen tool. And if we had to have a wick, because obviously we don't have wicks right here, that's going to be the wick. Right, so you have a normal high, you have a normal low. So the high is right here, the low is right here. This is the open. I have a white candle for positive candle. So this is the open, this is the close. So basically the rectangle is the entire move of the candle with its wicks. So if there's no candle inside, that's a wick. Pretty simple. Blue candles for down, that's for me. Same thing, but on reverse. Obviously, open right here, close right here, low is also right here at the close, and we have the high right here. And that's that. As far as the colors go, so you will notice that we have a few colors, and that's because in general, footprint charts or volumetric charts, the candles are color coded in 3 different shades of positive delta and 3 different shades of negative delta. So let me find some place where we have more colors in terms of shades. All right, so here's one. And you can immediately see, let's get the pen tool, so you can immediately see low positive delta, start green. Medium positive delta is this a little bit brighter green. And the highest positive delta, that's of course relative to the range, to the chart. We have, no, I think that's not the highest. It's still same color, right? So we're looking for even brighter green. I just look on the chart, see if we find some. It'll just pop out. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It just pops out. So we have very, very high red, but we're looking for high green. And I don't usually trade the ES, so it takes some time to find it. Maybe, or we don't have this luck today. Yeah, I don't see any. Hold on, let me just. Oh, okay, there we go. You just zoom out, you see, and it's right here. So actually, this candle is a perfect example. So we have very moderate dark green. We have the medium green, and we have the bright green. So these are the 3 shades for the green. So positive delta. This is based on delta. The highest the delta is on this level, the highest, well, the brightest will be the color. And same for the reds. So we have dark red, relatively small negative delta, medium red, relatively medium negative delta, and then and we're talking just about the line. So remember, this is a tick. So each of these lines is a tick right here on the ES. This is the chart. So we have 1 tick, 2nd tick, 3rd tick, 4th tick, and so forth. And these are medium reds also. I just, again, do the same trick. That pretty much works all the time. So it's going to be easy to find if there is some. And if you spot it, you shout it out. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's how. So we've noticed the bright green and bright red. All right, there it is. See, I mean, you don't even need to look at the numbers to spot the bright red. And here's the cool thing. Next video, when we talk about different patterns, every single time you spot high bright red or really bright green, that's absorption. Now, sometimes the second level will also be absorption, but if you spot these bright colors, that's absorption. This needs to get your attention to the chart. So we have a very good example right here of very high negative delta and medium negative delta, and this is low negative delta. So that's that as far as the colors in the background are concerned. Now, when we're talking about the other colors that are inside in terms of the numbers, here's what we have. So in general, this is the bid, this is the ask. Now remember, unlike Bookmap, for example, Bookmap will show you on top, right? On top, you are going to have the ask. At the bottom, you're going to have the bid. So these are the buyers, these are the sellers. And then we're going to have different levels. So limit sell orders on top, and then we're going to have limit buy orders at the bottom. So bids until we get to the mid price. So the mid price is going to be halfway, usually, between the ask on top and the bid below. Now, what the volumetric chart is showing you is only the filled trades, and it always happens in Bookmap's mid price. However, these trades are either filled on the bid or they're filled on the ask. Now, why is that? Usually, not always, but usually, buyers will be filled on the ask. Why is that? Because when you are an aggressor, and these are aggressive market participants that are hitting the market buy button, they are matched to the best ask price immediately. So unless you're doing a sweep, the market buys will get priority. Sweeps are always first priority in the order book. But otherwise, if I hit a market buy right now, I don't care about the price at which I'm filled, generally speaking. I want to get in, I want to buy, and I'll be matched to the best ask price. This is why Right here, we have the buyers. Some YouTube educators will tell you otherwise. It is not true. I'll explain a little later that there is some nuance to that, but in general, these are the buyers. The sellers are here on the bid. Why? We are again talking about aggressive market participants. When you aggressively want to sell, you don't care about the price at which you are filled. Otherwise, you're not going to press a market sell. You're going to have a limited order. So when you hit the market sell, you are matched to the best bid. Now, generally speaking, when we're talking about ES, NASDAQ, and so forth, there's very little chance of a slippage unless you want to be filled on, I don't know, like I trade NASDAQ. So if I want to get filled on 100 contracts, I am expecting a couple of ticks slippage. But generally, we're talking normal retail trader, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 contracts, you'll be filled immediately, maximum a tick slippage. So when I hit the market sell order button, that means that I'm filled at the best bid. Usually there's liquidity, I'll be filled right here. So that's very important to note. Now, what are the colors that you're seeing? The first color that you're obviously seeing is that orange here. So you see it on every single candle. That means that it repeats on every single candle. This is the volume point of control for that particular candle. And while we are on the topic of a volume profile, obviously, this is the volume profile for every single tick. So we have the orange in terms of the numbers and in terms of this line signaling the point of control for that particular candle. Nothing more, nothing less. Sometimes you also have the highest delta in terms of negative or positive delta coinciding with the point of control, but not always. Sometimes, but not always. Remember, now we're talking about volume, and here we're talking about delta. So delta is the coloring, volume is the point of control. And you're familiar with point of control, different profile types like the P and the B and whatever, and the D, and you have like double zone profiles. That can tell you alone a lot of information about the general direction that the price is going. But now, since we're focused on the footprint chart or the volumetric chart, as Ninja Trader calls it, let's just continue with the numbers. So this is the orange. There are two more colors, and just bear in mind, everything here is highly customizable. The colors of the candles, the colors of the background, the colors of the delta, the colors of the numbers, everything is customizable. So what we have right here, let's talk about the cyan color and the magenta color. I have magenta for sell imbalances and cyan color for buy or ask imbalances. Now, the first thing to remember when we drew that is that we have the ask above and we have a bid below. The difference is 0.25. So one tick is 0.25. So when we're talking about corresponding asks and bid, we have to look at this bid to this ask, just because this bid and this ask are corresponding and there's like the spread. If we're talking about the same level, that's fine, but we're going to be talking about this bid and this ask. But if price is right here on this bid and you hit market buy, you cannot be filled right here. You have to be filled right here. So generally what happens is when we're talking about imbalances, we're looking for a ratio between the bids and the ask. And here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Depending on the instrument that you're trading, imbalances will be treated differently. But in general, again, we're going to data series so I can show you. We have these three right here. Let me just grab the pen again. So we have these three settings from Ninja Trader, and they are number one, imbalance ratio 3. That basically means 300%. So if the ask is 300% bigger or more than the bid, we have imbalance on the ask. Reverse, if we have bids being 300% or more higher than the ask, so we have 0 right here, obviously that's an imbalance, we have an imbalance. Nothing more complicated than that. Imbalance mode, diagonal. Now, Ninja Trader and other software platforms that are providing footprint charts will give you the option to also draw it horizontally. But the default proper way, as identified by the people who actually created the footprint charts 25 years ago or so, is diagonal. We also have minimum delta for imbalance. Now, I use that because I have it at 54 years, because at some point you will get like one, well, not one, but three, four, five contracts, and then you're going to have like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 right here. So it's a very low liquidity zone, but it will also show up as an imbalance. Now, some people for years, I've seen people trading with 150 minimum size for imbalance. So that's also the case. It depends on the way that you're trading. 50 is fine for me. I know what I'm looking for. So you might want to play with that. Now, for example, for NASDAQ, I use 25. But as I said, depending on the liquidity on the instrument, you might want to play with different numbers. So if everything is imbalanced, that means definitely something's wrong, because imbalances are supposed to be powerful happenings around the chart, which you can trade off. So basically, these are what the colors of the numbers are. And with this, I think we've pretty much explained the entirety of what the footprint chart is. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 patterns that I think you should know about footprint charts. And with those 2 videos, this is everything that you need to know about footprint charts. The rest is exploration by yourself, looking at the charts when the market's open and trying to make sense of it all. So, see you in the next video. Stay tuned.